Hi Internet, welcome to the Troyan YouTube channel. It is Thin Lizzy Thursday, which means we are breaking down Thin Lizzy songs on this channel. We do that every Thursday, even when I am sick. I have been sick for 3 weeks. Every year I tend to get a cough that lasts for about 3 weeks, and so it's basically, not to be out of commission. I wasn't able to do Thin Lizzy Thursday for a little while. I had some great fill-in episodes. Steve, my bassist, filled in. My buddy Mike Walsh filled in, and there was a Thin Lizzy special that we did on the entire catalog with Decibel Geek podcast that I was able to upload on the channel. So you guys didn't miss a week of Thin Lizzy Thursday, even while I was out. I'm mostly better. I still have a little bit of a lingering cough, so I might pause my recording. Just mute my microphone, so it's not going to be paused. I'm just going to just do that when I have a cough. If you're wondering about the sunglasses, so in Nashville, it gets dark basically right around the time I get off work. So if I want to record one of these videos after work, the room that I have doesn't have overhead lighting, so I have a lamp in here. But in order for the lighting to look good on my webcam, I have to adjust in such a way where the light is kind of in my eyes. And so that's why I'm wearing the sunglasses. TLDR, but, just letting you know that's what's going on with that. But today I'm going to be addressing the songs that I missed while I was out. And, I'm excited to let you guys hear my thoughts on them so I'm not yelling at the computer screen with what, Steve and Mike were saying wrong about them. So we're going to start off with Killer on the Loose from Chinatown. So this is not... This is not one of my favorite Thin Lizzy songs. This is actually probably one of my lower ranking songs in the catalog. It's a lot of the criticisms that Steve had of the song I kind of agree with, where I think the chord structure is a little bit repetitive. Lyrically, it's actually not as clever as I would like it to be. I think Don't Play Around is sort of the same song, but with a more clever lyrical approach. This one seems a little bit more blunt and less clever than Phil usually is. And a big thing I have with the song is that I feel the production does not necessarily meet the material. It kind of sounds like new wave production, and the songwriting sounds like a new wave of British heavy metal song. So it sounds like Saxon, but with a slightly heavier Flock of Seagulls production. And that is just a combo that I find to be an awkward historical anomaly that doesn't necessarily fit, and I feel that it doesn't benefit the material. But we're going to be reacting to the video for Killer on the Loose first, so you know what, let's get right into it. Here is Killer on the Loose by Thin Lizzy. So one nice thing about this track is that it definitely does have the Thin Lizzy pulse. Just Brian Downey and Phil Lynott. They're a unique rhythm section. Very distinct, and they do mix it up a lot. So it's not like they're doing the same thing over and over again, but it does have a very familiar pulse that does feel good. But as Steve mentioned, that chord progression in this song is it is quite repetitive, unfortunately, and melodically, which we'll hear here. Words. I'm getting back into the rhythm things, but as we'll hear in this piece, Phil just is kind of shouting the vocals in a more chaotic manner, and I feel like it hurts the melody. And I understand he's playing the character of the serial killer, but I feel like it doesn't benefit the song and makes it actually kind of awkward as a pop single. But yeah, let's get back to it.
Some people they call me Jack. Some people they call me insane. I'm looking for somebody, and I don't even know her name. I'm coming looking for you, wherever you may be. For there's something I gotta do to you, honey, and it's between you and
All right, so this is actually I actually recorded a reaction for this a few minutes ago, and the audio wasn't working, so I had to readjust all the settings because I guess OBS, since the last time I opened it, decided to freak out and reconfigure everything. So I had to do some technical support with OBS. But the thing is, I listened to the song right before I was done with work because I just wanted a refresher on it, and then I did an entire reaction to it, and then found out the audio didn't work, and am redoing it now. And so this is like sort of my third time in a row listening to the song, and as I've mentioned, like, oh, I'm kind of lukewarm on it. It's not one of my favorite Lizzy songs. I'm actually getting pretty into it this listen, so that might be to the benefit of you folks at home, because maybe my last critique was a bit harsher on the song, and it's probably because I expect such a high level of quality from Thin Lizzy, and when they give me something that is just like acceptable, like, you know, competent, but like it's not like Nets level stellar, it's a bit of a disappointment. Like, for me, this is one of my lowest ranked Thin Lizzy singles, you know, once they become a two guitar band. Like, I think this is you know, like, not counting like B-sides and stuff, this might be my least favorite of all the songs they released as a single. And, you know, made my least favorite track off Chinatown. But I'm digging it. I'm digging it now. The band looks cool, and you know, I do like Steve's comment about the lower backing vocals in the chorus being a very good production choice. But yeah, this guitar tone with this kind of song is just, it's for me really awkward. The song it's written to be way heavier than it comes across, and just makes it this really awkward anomaly. It'd be like if, for the Kiss fans out there, if Kiss did the song Unholy with unmasked production, you'd be like, what? It doesn't make sense. But yeah, let's get back to it.
Now I'm not trying to be nasty, or I'm not trying to make you scared, but there's a killer on the loose. Or haven't you heard? He'll be walking around this town just about midnight. Yes, that's Chinatown. That's right, that's right. Now you don't think I'm messing, or he don't exist. But honey, I'm confessing, I'm a bad sex killer on the loose again.
So, this song, there's a part of it that implies that it's like, oh, is it a serial killer or a lady killer? There is a part of the song that does, excuse me, that does allow for maybe a little bit of that wiggle room, and like, oh, like, you know, Steve's analysis was correct in a way. But if you actually take a direct read of the lyrics, it is pretty explicitly about a serial killer. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, there's maybe a fun, like, plausible deniability with radio about him being like a lady killer. But like, if you actually look at the words, it's pretty clear. It's a serial killer. And that line right there, which I'm surprised Steve didn't pick up on, but the line there is Phil saying, "I'm a mad sexual rapist," which is just a very awkward line in your radio single. It's just like, yes, you're the serial killer, but just like, that line is just, to me, it feels a bit clumsy. And actually, that may be the way I would describe the lyrics for this piece overall. It feels clumsy, and like, almost as if Phil didn't write it. Like, it's just, there's a certain standard of quality you get from Phil Lynott and his lyrics, and this just seems more like blunt and lacking his subtlety and nuance, where I just watched the Thor movies with my wife. She hadn't seen them, and how like Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok, like, sticks out like a sore thumb, and just like, huh, that's weird. It's just like, this is just a different thing. That's kind of how I feel about the lyrics for this one. It's like, it's not that I think that Phil couldn't write a song about a serial killer and perform it well, but it feels so different and awkward and out of place and clumsy in comparison to the stuff that he normally does.
I get all the loose. I get all the loose again. A lady get all the loose. I'll be standing in the shadows of love.
And you guys know I love Phil. He's my dude. He was into these vocal effects in this era. This is also showed up on Angel of Death. I think it's really cheesy. I think it's really Spinal Tap. I think that it has not aged well and just is just goofy and silly. And for me, does not work. So I think this song is just, in my opinion, there's a couple cool production choices like the lower vocals and the chorus, but overall, this song was just produced incorrectly to my ears. And I think this is a case of the songwriting and the production not gelling. And so if you had like maybe Thunder and Lightning style production on this track, it might be, one of my favorite Thin Lizzy songs, but as it's done in this way, and this is the canonical version, it's not quite working. It's a square peg in a round hole for me. All right, let's get back to it. And the last time I reacted to this, 10 minutes ago, I didn't comment on the guitar solo, but I'll say that I think Snowy, for all the flack that he has given his time in Lizzy, saying he wasn't happy in the band, and all the people who say he wasn't a good fit for the band, I think sonically he fit in well. Like, he played guitar well in the band. He did competent solos. It didn't sound like he was out of place. Maybe he felt out of place, but if you're just listening to the records, he does fit in with the other guitar players well, in my opinion. All right, so there you go. That is Killer on the Loose by Thin Lizzy. And like I said, it's one of my lower ranked Thin Lizzy songs, like, in general. Main reasons why it doesn't work for me. Phil's more chaotic, aggressive vocal, I feel, is so lacking melody in comparison to other pieces that it's hard to latch onto the melody during the verses. It is a little bit repetitive in its chord structure, and the production choices don't complement the material, and I think the lyrics are a bit clunky. So there's a lot of strikes going against it, unfortunately, as to why it doesn't work for me. But a lot of the more metal fans tend to like this song. It's people who like the heavier side of Lizzy are just like, yeah, Killer on the Loose. But I think it's just like metalheads just like, man, we just like anything which like serial killers and dark shit. It's just like, for me, not saying that if you like the song, you like predictable things, but I've noticed that a lot of people who like it are just like the headbangers who just like anything that's heavy. But there are just like better songs about serial killers that have been done. Like Stars has done it better. Iron Maiden has done it better. It's just don't get me wrong. It's a cool tune, but it's not up to the standard of quality that I expect from the Lizzy catalog. Like, I still like it. I still enjoyed it, but it's one I have a lot more issues with. But this next song that we're doing, I don't have really issues with. I think this is just a stone cold classic, and Mike Walsh was just wrong and full of shit. So we're going to be doing Soldier of Fortune off Bad Reputation. And I talked over that sweet gong intro, which I love, and my computer keeps freaking out on me. But yeah, let's hear that gong intro one more time because it's so good. Love a good gong intro.
A soldier of fortune came home from war and wondered what he was fighting for. This sad-eyed soldier, he broke down and cried. Oh, he was so broke up inside. When will it end? When will it end? For those about to die.
All right, now this is the opening track off Bad Reputation, and what they're giving you right away are just these beautiful, poignant lyrics about just the struggle of a soldier coming home after a war, and just what that does to your spirit and soul. You've got this great passionate vocal from Phil. You've got, really excellent, subtle use of keyboards, building that sense of atmosphere, but allowing the melody to shine. Like, that is just a powerful, powerful intro. The lyrics are phenomenal. So there is something... there is a difference between myself and Mike Walsh where I actually value lyrics quite a bit. And perhaps part of it is that... just the difference in perspective. Like, Mike and I, we're good friends. We go way back, but there are significant differences between us. So, we both, loved Kiss and, grew up on, 70s and 80s hard rock and hair metal, and we both love that stuff. But, I'm more of a left-leaning guy. He is more of a right-leaning guy. So we have sort of like the opposites politically in that sense. But also, I come at it from like the perspective as a songwriter, as a guy who's been writing songs for over 15 years at this point. I don't know. I lost count of when I started, whatever. But I've been writing songs for a long time, and when you're writing songs, you look at the craft a little bit differently. And I think there's a sort of an important distinction to be made. There's people who are really into the craft of songwriting, and then there's, for lack of a better term, dudes who just like riff on their guitar and call it writing a song. And to me, there's a difference. Like, if you're someone who's crafting the lyrics, the guitar parts, like you're crafting the entire tapestry of the song, looking at the individual components, and me when I write, I'll also give the drummer direction, give the bassist direction. It won't just be, oh, I wrote some words and I'll let everyone else fill in their parts. I tend to be like a painter painting in, the entire thing, or an orchestral composer. Like Yngwie says that when he writes as if he's writing for an orchestra and just writes out each part very specifically. I'm a bit more like that. And so I do value lyrics as a composer, as someone who writes lyrics. I do value that. But beyond that, I feel that lyrics are, they're a portal into the soul. They allow for catharsis and human experience. And, don't get me wrong, I love the dumb party songs in the same way that I love a dumb, cheesy action movie. But, there's something to be said about the movies that, make you cry and touch your soul and change your life. And I feel that, a great song can have like this heart-changing, big message in like under 3 minutes, a lot of songs. And so for me, lyrics are important, and I would say that Thin Lizzy, is like slightly, is less catchy than Kiss, a band that we both like. Maybe less melodically strong, but so far superior in terms of lyrics, where that just elevates them that much higher to me. So as a guy who's, really into books, really into the craft of storytelling, a band that tells strong narratives in their songs, but also has, great hard rock, awesome guitars, swagger and heart at the same time. That is appealing to me. So, that was a bit of a tangent, but I guess I'm saying that, the fact that these lyrics are good means a lot to me, and I'm able to latch onto those melodies more with those good lyrics.
For those about to die.
And yeah, just that is classic Lizzy harmony guitars. Like, that is the sound that they're famous for, and it is just beautiful. There are a number of my, contemporaries, people around my age, which Mike is a little bit older than me, but I would say around my general age group. And they make fun of me for sort of liking this kind of groove. Because it's not quite as energetic and frantic and fast paced. But I love a good rock groove like this. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not that guy who will jam out on the super slow 20-minute song. That bores me. But for some reason, this sweet spot where it's it's rocking, but it's not necessarily frantic. I get into this tempo, and especially this tempo when Phil is telling a great story, which as he is about to do. And before we get back into it, I just want to say one more thing. A guy who likes Status Quo, criticizing the song for being too repetitive and not having a strong melody, has a lot of nerve doing that. Sorry, I had to get a little dig in Edit Mike there. We debate over Thin Lizzy versus Status Quo quite often. I come down on the Thin Lizzy side, he comes on the Status Quo side. But yeah, anyway, back to the song.
The battle's over, the war is won. But the soldier of fortune, he will carry on. He will carry on when all hope is gone. He will carry on. He's trained to kill, and kill he will, as we march along. Singing just another soldier song, just another soldier song.
Man, these lyrics are so good, and that the melody is killer, and the performance is heartfelt and great. So let's take a look at these lyrics. So the battle's over, the war is won, but this soldier of fortune, he will carry on. He will carry on when all hope is gone. He will carry on. The thing is, I feel like a lot of us in life, all right, let me rephrase this. So I've gone through some challenges in my life, personally, and it feels like a lot of my biggest battles are behind me. Just climbing out of poverty and, overcoming, child abuse and, street fights and stuff like that. It feels like, the battle is over, the war is won. I've gone past those hardships, but you still carry those scars and that bittersweet taste to it, and just it's still a part of you. And so even if you didn't go to war, physically, go to war. You've gone. A lot of us have gone into some kind of personal war, and we've gone out on the other side. Like, yeah, we won the war, but like we still remember that shit. It's still a part of you. And so when you think of it in that sense of just like the battles that you've done, and you're not continuing those battles necessarily. That part of your life is maybe over and that excitement is past you, like that's still a part of you and you're still carrying that with you. And so that's, a really great layer that the song brings out. He's trained to kill and kill he will. Like, especially, pardon me, pardon the cough, but the way that I take that lyric is like, for those of us who've gone through the hardships, it gives you that like that killer instinct, that eye of the tiger, that little fight that you have in you. And so like there's the part of me that I at this point I'm completely soft and would lose in a fist fight. But there's still like that edge that feels like the monster could come out and like he's trained to kill and kill he will, like it reminds me of just like those times when like those few times in my adult life where there's been a dangerous situation and like one time a guy tried to mug me and I punched him and it was just like instinctual reflex from those years of like fighting as a kid and I was able to get away from the guy. And the thing is, that's not a safe thing to do. But it's like, he's trained to kill and kill he will. Like that those instincts, like, are still with you. And so I resonate with the song on that level. And it's just it's really, really great. And especially, for people who have been in the military, I'm sure they relate to this even harder than I do. Like I'm just a guy who's, I've lived a blessed life overall. My hardships are nowhere near as hard as other people's. So people who have, gone through even harder stuff, like I think, they understand it. If you've gone through adversity and come out the other side, I think that's what the song is about. And how do you adjust and how do you move past it? And in some ways you can't. So, and it's got those great just, that great balance of just like those great hard rock riffs in between the vocals. Mwah! Chef's kiss. This is great. Mike, you're wrong. Let's get back to it.
Just another soldier song.
Yeah, I mean, great chorus, excellent vocal harmonies there, like top notch. And I'm a soldier of fortune, destined to keep on marching. Just like it's, you're destined to carry that baggage with you for the rest of your life. Like you can't unload it. It's like once it's there, it's there. Just really poignant, great stuff. And it's kind of a night and day contrast from Killer on the Loose, where like this is so poignant and clever and heartfelt and layers, and then Killer on the Loose is just like, you know what? I'm gonna focus on this one. I am loving it. This is great. Let's get back to it. Yeah, and that to me is a very, very clever guitar solo. Once again, apologies for the coughing. Getting back into the swing of things. Also apologizing for stumbling over my words and maybe not being as with it. I've been out of it for a bit. But I think that like sort of war drum marching pattern like makes the song more of an experience. More cinematic. And just it really it captures that vibe of the soldier marching very, very well, but with that beautiful solo. It's just it's top notch. It's painting a picture. It's cinematic. It's just you know I can understand how it may be because this song is it's a you've got some slowness to the start of the album, in that it's not like get your fist in the air and let's rock, and it's not high energy, but it's painting a picture and really just setting the stage for all these cool character pieces that you will be able to appreciate and enjoy. And this song is like a mini movie in a way, and that to me is great. It's just the song is an experience, and it's not a high energy start to an album, but it's a very distinct start to an album that just makes you just excited to keep going further, because it's still a strong opening salvo. It's still very powerful what you're getting, and so in a way that a movie can start off slow, and that can be a powerful dramatic intro. Not everything needs to start with a car chase, and for me this is just it's a great beginning to this album.
I am a soldier of fortune, destined to kill for margin. I can hear the vipers
Yeah, and a great ending. You know what? I'm also going to call out Mike again. A Thin Lizzy does not have a mediocre catalog. You're a goddamn savage. Sorry, I love you, buddy, but you are so wrong about that. Oh my god. Yeah. A couple things. I'm noticing that one of the reasons I'm probably stumbling over my words is that I am trying to think more economically while talking, because I'm trying to avoid coughing, and I'm noticing ordinarily when I talk, I just sort of go with it, and I'm restraining myself because I still feel the tinglies in the throat. And so I'm talking slower because I'm feeling the tinglies and I'm trying to avoid coughing. But because I'm talking slower, my mouth is not matching the thoughts in my brain, and it's a weird disconnect. And so that probably explains partially as to why I am sounding less coherent than I normally do. So I apologize for that. Hopefully, the cough is completely gone by next week. It's mostly gone around the house, but this is my first time trying to do this extensive chat. But you know what? I'm glad to be back at it. I miss doing it. This is fun to do. And, it's great to, really break down these songs, tell you what I like about them. And also with Kill on the Loose, the rare Thin Lizzy song, I'm like, there's some stuff here that I'm not as big on. So glad to be back at it. Sorry if this is a little bit boring of a return because you guys already, saw reactions to these songs, but now you get my thoughts. So I want to know, I'm curious, which one of these songs you prefer and why? Do you agree with my takes? I'm just curious as to, maybe discussing these two as a pair, these two songs that kind of have nothing to do with each other. But, let's discuss them. Let's compare and contrast as to why one works for you and maybe why one doesn't, or why both work for you. Tell me why you think I'm wrong about Killer on the Loose. And that is sort of I'm just let's get the conversation going. But I'm glad to be back, and this is a long video. We're already at 36 minutes, so I'm gonna stop it here. But yeah, glad to be back. You guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.